I'm going to try not to talk too much on this because this comment really pisses me off, especially how the commentator was approaching me. There's just a lot wrong here. Their comment said, saying tone deaf is a slur implies that deaf is a slur, and it's not. It's a medical condition as disabled person with a hearing impaired parent. First of all, both tone deaf and hearing impaired are both deaf slurs. Second of all, me asking you to not use my deafness as a slur doesn't mean that deafness itself is a slur. It means I'm asking you not to discriminate against me. And you tell me that I'm implying that my own identity is a slur if I'm asking you not to use it as one is just hypocritical. It kind of screams reverse ableism when that doesn't exist. Third, if you're not deaf, you don't get to decide what is or isn't a slur for deaf people. This is a deaf community issue, okay? Now, deaf people are not a monolith, so when I say deaf people feel a certain way, I'm going to heavily generalize about deaf people. Not all deaf people feel the same way about me, but enough deaf people feel the same way about me to where, it is a community issue. It's well known that it's a concept in a community that we do not like. Please pause and read this little article from the Seattle Times on using tone deafness, particularly the highlighted part. I am also queer. I'm bisexual, pansexual, very open sexually, so I feel like I could use this next metaphor. Do you remember about 20 years ago, it was very common to use gay as a slur? Someone said that if they didn't want to do something, they'd be like, no, that's gay, something like that. But being gay itself isn't a slur, but the usage of it could be if someone's using it in a derogatory way. Similar thing happens with deafness. Being deaf itself isn't a slur, but when you use our deafness to demean others, that's when you use our identity as a slur, and that's extremely problematic. There are many, many reasons why I do not like hearing impaired, but let's just say it began being seen as politically correct because before they called us hearing impaired, they would call us deaf and dumb. They would call us dumb. So they went from calling us dumb to broken, okay? And we're done with that. We're not dumb, we're not broken, we're just deaf. We're deaf, hard of hearing, deaf. Every deaf person has their own identity, and I wouldn't tell another deaf person how to identify, but I will tell hearing people how not to discuss me to me. Last but not least, your proximity to a deaf person doesn't make you deaf, doesn't mean you can speak over me about deaf issues, okay? That's like a cis-het man trying to tell me what my own period is like when I'm on my own fucking period. You don't know what it's like.